Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm jumping into the Guild Exchange, and I'm going to be giving you guys a tier list for all of the new Guild weapons coming out. Now, just as a preface to this video, the last tier list video I did, people were leaving comments saying that they disagreed about certain things, but they didn't actually stay around to the end of the video. So as I'm going through this, I may place a weapon in a certain tier, and then later on, when comparing another weapon to it, replace that original weapon. So if you guys are looking for the end tier list, you'll want to jump to the end of the video. That being said, I'm just going to be going through these kind of one at a time, and then putting them in a tier list as we go. So I also want to say that when it comes to these guild weapons, guys, a lot of these have very niche abilities, meaning that they will be very useful for certain particular content, and then other than that, maybe not as useful. So my strategy going into this, guys, is to basically let the game determine which weapon I need to get, right? And I think that we can all agree, most of you guys that have checked through this, that the next weapon that's going to be necessary is going to be Matt's BoM Sword against the Ramuh EX2, right? Now we'll get to that in a second here, but essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to be jumping back and forth between this tier list right here and back into the game where we can actually check all the stats. So the first thing we're going to look at is Lucia's rubber band gun. All right, so let's go down to that one right here. All right, and I'm just going to go straight, and we're going to look at these at OB10. Now, I will say that I do think that all of the weapons with the magic defense or physical defense up to all allies are just going to be inherently better than the other weapons with like ATB boost, for example. ATB boost, for those of you guys that don't understand what it is, it's essentially like first strike materia in Rebirth. So essentially you're going to get a boost to ATB at the beginning of the battle. Now, I think we've only really had one content where something like that would be more relevant, which was the Shiva fight, where she basically silences you right off the bat. Now, I'm not exactly sure, but I will say that I'm pretty positive that Applebot is going to give us content where the ATB boost is necessary, right? So, like I said, I'll be saving my guild medals and then basically building weapons as I go so that I'm never really left high and dry and in need of something. All right. With that being said, I will be making a overall tier list. So Lucia's rubber band gun, here it is at OB10, does have 620% physical non-elemental damage and crit potency of 10%. Now, this is the only weapon of all 13 of them that increases the command gauge potency, right? And the first thing that I think about was the original last boss of the Cave of the Gi and how he casts Dread. Dread is a kind of debuff where it greatly decreases the fill rate of the command gauge, but the moment you max it out, you heal yourself of Dread. So I'm guessing that the next dungeon ranking is going to be have that Gi Natak using Dread as the final boss or a boss in it, where this weapon is going to come in handy, right? And it does look like that even at base 5-star, you'll still raise the command gauge by 20%. So for 10 medals, you could get this weapon and essentially make that a lot easier by using Lucia. All right, other than that, a lot of these weapons are going to be basically boosting physical defense to all allies, magic defense to all allies, and then some elemental resistance here. For the support materials here, we have physical ability damage 20%, physical ability damage 20%, and triangle sigil boost as well. So to jump over to the tier list right here, I think I'm going to slot Lucia's in B. When it's necessary, when you need it to counter Dread, or in another instance that we don't know of yet, it's going to be great. But other than that, you're going to be basically looking to use it as a counter against wind bosses, right? All right, so let's jump back in, and let's see what the next weapon is on the list. It is going to be Matt's BoM Sword. All right, so let's jump up to the BoM Sword, and Basically, the general consensus is that this is the best weapon so far. I'm going to go over why that is. This weapon has a lot of good things about it, okay? Not only does it deal 620% physical non-elemental damage at 4 ATB, it also removes physical defense up to the enemy on a single enemy, completely removes it, which is absolutely fantastic. It's the only guild weapon that does this. On top of that, you get boost lightning resist, all right? So for countering EX2 Ramuh, boost magic defense to all allies, which is fantastic. And then in the back end, not only do you get double physical ability potency plus 20%, but you also get the all cure spell in the back. So insanely good weapon. And for me, basically almost guaranteed the first weapon that I will be building. So if we jump back out here, I'm going to put Matt's BoM Sword up in S. All right, now let's see. Here we have Sephiroth's Twig. So let's jump over to Sephiroth's Twig and take a look at it. All right, so this is going to be one of those weapons with boost ATB boost right here, right? So it does look like you can get up to ATB plus 4 at battle start, right? With 39 if this was in the main hand. If it wasn't, you'd be getting probably like around here, right? But like I said, extra ATB at the start of the battle is really only useful at the very beginning of the battle. So these weapons, I think, are just not nearly as good as the physical defense, magic defense up weapons. However, for this weapon right here, Heavenly Grasp, it will deal 700% physical non-elemental damage. Also with command gauge max, attack stance times 1.5 damage. So it is going to deal an extra good amount of damage. It is a solid weapon. It is non-elemental damage. It does have earth resistance here, physical ability potency, and triangle sigil boost as well. The thing is, it's hard to say how much this ATB boost is really going to do. Are you really going to run this on Sephiroth with other things there? So I think that for this weapon, I'm going to start out by putting this in B right there. All right. Now let's jump back over. Next one is Glenn's weapon right here. So let's go to the Squeaky Hammer. All right. So this one is going to have physical defense to all allies, water resistance, deals 700% physical damage, and the lower your HP, the higher the ability potency up to max times 2. So 4 ATB at max damage is going to be dealing 1400%. The question is, how low does your HP have to be in order for this to fully trigger? And I'm not exactly sure. Another thing is that, like with a lot of Vincent's weapons, you want to be running him low HP, and that's, you know, interesting, but in a lot of these fights, you're really trying to have your characters topped off in HP as much as possible. You can run them in certain instances against bosses and really focus on that, but I think against a super hard boss where like you're on the line, it's going to be too hard to do that. All right, so definitely solid for the physical defense. All physical ability potency 20, 20, and X sigil boost right here, but because it has the physical defense to all allies, I think that I am going to place this one in A. All right. Now we'll be looking at Vincent's weapon next. So I'm going to jump back over here. Let's go find Vincent's weapon. It is the Silver Rifle. All right. This one's going to have boost water resistance and ATB boost. Deals 700% physical non-elemental damage. Also, when debuff is granted to target, times 1.5 damage. All right. So that's going to be 1050% damage plus the increase to limit gauge right there. All right, and with the support materials here, physical ability damage 20, 20, 20. So pretty solid, good damage wise for Vincent right here for a physical damage weapon. The question is, I mean, physical attack 564 is not the best right there. I do like that it is when a debuff is granted to target. That is helpful, especially for him. But I also think that this weapon right here, I'm going to put this in B as well. All right. It could have its uses, but like I said, they're going to be very, very rare. Now, next up, we have the Bamboo Ring from Yuffie right here. So let's go find that. It is right here. All right. I'm going to take it to OB10. Again, we have wind resistance, ATB boost right here. This one deals 500% physical non-elemental damage. The higher your HP, the higher the ability potency, max times 2. So this one can be doing 1000% damage, right, at max HP. Now, I like this one a lot more than the other ones. Support materia is It looks like ability damage plus 10%, magic ability damage plus 20%, magic ability damage plus 20%, except for the fact that this is a physical weapon. So I was gonna put this in A tier, but the fact that the support materials don't match it is gonna bump this one down into B. Unfortunately for me, that makes no freaking sense why they did that. All right, so let's look at Aerith's umbrella next. All right, it's right here. Take it to OB10 right here. This one is going to remove physical attack down, magic attack down on a single ally while also casting a major heal right here. All right, this one looks pretty damn solid for this ability. Plus it has magic defense all allies, lightning resist right here. All right, it has magic ability damage 20%, magic ability damage 20%, and the cure all in the third slot. This is super useful outside of niche situations. I feel like this one will have its use a lot more often than other ones. So I'm going to take the umbrella and I'm going to put it one tier behind Matt's right there. All right, let's see here. For these weapons, I'm going to put Vincent's in front of Sephiroth. Lucia's up here at the front just because I feel like this ability will be super handy, but without the command gauge boots, it's hard to say how good that weapon is. All right, now next we have the Trumpet Shell from Kate Sith. So let's go find that. It is right here. This one is definitely pretty good. Shellmanship, 4 ATB cost. This one is going to increase physical attack and magic attack to all allies with a max potency of mid. All right, now if we take it to base 5-star, it is going to go low to mid. All right, all allies, while also casting a, let's see here. Oh no, wait. Let's read this. Physical attacks increase potency low, range all allies, duration 12 seconds, max potency mid. Also, magic heal is cast, potency 5% of healing potency. Okay. Range all allies, and magic attack is increased. All allies, however, the rate is only 20% on the magic attack up. All right, so that is a bit of a bummer with that low chance of getting the magic attack up right there. I feel like at a 20% rate, you can't really use this weapon and like earnestly rely on it. So you would be using it for physical attack up, but compared to Aerith's new wand from the Monster Hunter event, I feel like this one just doesn't really compare. However, it does have magic defense to all allies. It does boost ice resistance right here. The support materials can be physical damage, magic damage right here, and then sigil boost. So I think that I'm going to, just because it has the magic defense to all allies, I'm still going to put it in A, but I'm going to put it at the back end of A. I wish that it didn't have the 20% rate on the magic attack up. I feel like if it could have been fine just going to mid without that, because if we take it to OB6, yeah, it would have been nice to have it OB6, but the magic attack up rate is just a little bit tricky right there. So for those of you guys that did not pull the Monster Hunter wand for Aerith, this can be definitely good for the physical attack up and definitely the R abilities. But yeah, I'm a little bit bummed on that magic attack right there. All right, so taking a look at the next one here, we have Zack's Rose Bouquet right here. All right, so let's go to this one and let's take a look. At OB10, this one's going to have physical defense to all allies, boost fire resistance. Now we're going to have a deals 400% physical non-elemental damage. The higher your HP, the higher the ability potency, up to a maximum of ×3. Interesting. So at max HP, this is going to be doing a flat 1200% damage, which is pretty damn solid. I like the ones where the HP is higher. All right. For the support abilities, physical ability plus 20%, physical ability plus 20%, and X sigil. So you would want this in the main hand. The question is, would you run this over Ceremonial Sword Z? And honestly, I'm not really sure. It depends. If you were fighting a boss like Ifrit, like an Ifrit EX2, and he was using those strong physical attacks, I'm guessing this is going to be really good against the Ifrit EX2 fight, then yeah, you would. But in most cases, you probably wouldn't, because you would want, you know, more DPS allocated R abilities right here. But still, I like this one a lot out of the damaging ones so far. So let's go back to the tier list. And I'm going to take Zack's and I'm going to put it ahead of all of these at A rank right there. All right, now we have Cloud's Nail Bat. Definitely an interesting one to look at. This one is crazy damage right here. All right, so if we take a look at the Nailbat, take it to OB10, let's even look at it at OB6 right here. It's still going to deal 13-20% damage at OB6, even at base 5-star, 850%. Now, you would not use this on Cloud if you wanted him to be able to utilize limit breaks or summons, because he gets no boost to limit and summon gauges when using this ability right here. Also, on top of that, it does have a 5 ATB cost, so I think that this weapon is going to be very niche. If you guys remember the original battle ranking, the very first one, where we were trying to do major damage through non-elemental weapons, this weapon would shine in an event like that, right? We're also going to have boost fire resistance and ATB boost right here. Like I said, the ATB boost is like hit or miss. It's good to have it at the beginning of a battle. It gets you off on the right foot, but until I actually see content where it's necessary, it's hard to like justify going for one of these weapons over the other ones, which we know are going to have more of an impact sooner in the game. So for the Nailbat right here, insane damage, guys, like really insane damage. I like the fire resistance there. We have physical ability damage 20%, physical ability damage 20%, and circle sigil boost here as well. So pretty damn solid overall. Definitely a hard hitting weapon right there. It is hard to say where to place it. I can't tell to place it above or below Zack's. So I think that I'm going to put it like right here, but then say that these two are basically tied. The thing is that you would want to have these at OB10, and I just can't see people getting these to OB10 before the physical defense or magic defense up weapons. Those are just so good. All right, so let's move on to Barrett's weapon right here. All right, the Rocket Punch. And let's take a look at OB10 right here. This one's going to have physical defense all allies, earth resist. It's going to deal 500% physical non-elemental damage. The lower your HP, the higher the potency. So this one could hit up to 1500%, right? But your HP is going to have to be really low, and if you're most of the time running them at max, it's going to be really hard to do that. Of course, there are playstyles where you can make this work. I'm looking at this in the terms of fighting a boss where you're kind of on the line for it, and you're not going to really want to be lower HP. So it is really interesting. 1500% damage is nothing to scoff at, guys. It is really, really good. Support material, physical ability, and circle sigil boost right here. All in all, pretty solid. Physical defense to all allies, still really good, and the earth resist right there, which is probably why you would be equipping this weapon, is for the R abilities right there. So I'm going to take Barrett's, and I'm going to put it at the top end of A right here because it has the physical defense up right there. Now, I can't recall if these ones did, right? If these ones did, let's quickly go back and look at Glenn's and Kate Sitz. All right, let's see here. This one does physical defense, and Kate Sitz is right here, magic defense. All right, so I am going to go back out here and actually bump both of these. Hold on, let's see here. I'm going to bump both of these above Cloud and Zack's right there. These are going to be good, but not nearly as good as the physical defense, magic defense up weapons here, guys. All right, so let's keep going here and see what we got. We have Tifa's gloves and Red 13's right here. All right, so let's jump up to Tifa, take a look at her work gloves. So here we're going to have ice resistance and ATB boost. This one is going to give her physical defense increased high, physical attack increased high, all right, and a magic heal on stealth, boost ice resist, ATB boost as well. I think a lot of Tifa's weapons recently, though, except for the guide gloves, are going to be magic, not physical. We have physical ability damage, and X sigil boost right here. So this is looking solid, but I think this is going to be super, super niche as well. I do like the stealth buffs right here. For anyone that has Amaranth's Claws, it is similar, not quite as good for sure. Base 5-star is going to go mid to high. All right, that's pretty damn solid. And physical attack mid to high. So that is really good because even at base 5-star, you're getting a lot out of this weapon. All right, so I do think that this one right here, it is hard to say, guys, but I'm going to put this one right up. I think I'm going to put it right there. I don't know why it keeps jumping all around here, guys. But I think that maybe I'll put this one right in between Cloud and Zack's right there. It's hard to say. I feel like work gloves could bump down, but because it has better like max potential at base 5-star, I'm going to keep it in the A slot right there. All right, now what do we have left? Last thing, Red 13's headphones, guys, and that's going to basically cover the entire tier ranking for these weapons. All right, so let's jump into Red 13's. Okay, so these are the headphones. So magic defense, all allies, great off the bat. Ice resistance, okay. This one's going to deal 540% magic non-elemental damage to all allies. Also removes magic defense up all enemies. Super, super solid right here, guys. Already looking great. We have magic ability damage, cure spells, target all. Guaranteed S rank right here, guys. This one is really good. All enemies, magic defense up, just completely removes it. Really, really, really solid. So I'm going to take this one. I think I'm going to put this one. Honestly, it's hard to tell between his and Aerith's. I think they're pretty much like right around tied. But this is essentially how I'm looking at these guys right here. So this is going to be the end tier list. So coming in first place, Matt's BoM Sword. The headphones and Aerith's umbrella are both going to be really good. The thing is that depending on what content drops in the game will be when I decide to build these, right? We'll be building Matt's BoM Sword for the next Ramu EX2 for sure, and then we'll basically be going from there. Everything else, guys, is going to be essentially just seeing what is coming out and going with it from there. We are definitely going to get a major boon from stacking these physical defense, magic defense up weapons. There is a, let me see if I can find it in the Discord. All right, so if I go to the data mine here, all right, and we go back to the weapons, let's see where we can find it. There is a, oh, actually, I think it's right here. Sorry, guys, here it is right here. All right, so here we can actually take a look at what we need in order to get these weapons leveled up. And this is from our community data miner right here. It does look like the total cost to get a weapon to OB2, which is 3 copies, is going to be 90 guild medals. OB4 is going to be 250. OB7 is going to be 700. So definitely a lot of medals to get these to OB6. Now, here are some guild weapon sub breakpoints. Level 3 defense all 20% for the team is going to be OB7 level 90 weapon for 15 points. And an OB9 level 60 weapon for 16 points right here. All right. Level 4 defense all, it looks like he's saying don't do this, which will give you 30%, is going to be OB7 level 90 weapon. All right. Plus an OB4 level 60 or OB2 level 110. Or you can pair it with an OB9 level 60 plus OB4 level 60. Essentially, you guys can find this in our Discord right here under Final Fantasy 7 EC data and maps. You can also find it in the other Discords as well under the data mine. And it looks like here we have the R ability combos we have access to. Barrett boosts Earth Resist, physical defense all allies. Zac Fire Resist, physical defense all allies. Glenn Water Resist, physical defense all allies. And Lucia boosts Wind Resist, physical defense to all allies. So I'm actually going to jump back into here and bump Lucia's weapon up. All right. I think I'm actually going to put it at the top of A right there, just because I feel like that command gauge one is going to be really helpful in the future. So we'll see how it is. But honestly, I feel like these are all more or less pretty solid. But I don't see myself really building any of these weapons. Lucia's for 1 copy for the Dread, but I'll probably be focusing on these ones at the beginning, and then maybe jump into either Zac's Flower Bouquet or Cloud's Nail Bat, just because they sound like a lot of fun, guys. All right, so let's jump back into the Discord and take a look back. But yeah, essentially that is going to more or less cover these weapons. Like I said, guys, I do think that it is important to wait to let the game show you what you need, rather than just going ahead and building these right now. I mean, obviously, do whatever you want, whatever's fun for the account. But I like being able to meet the challenges of bosses when they drop in the game. So I'm just going to wait and let that kind of show me what it needs when we get there. So that being said, guys, that is going to conclude the tier list for the guild weapon rankings. or for the guild weapons. I'm curious what you guys think. If you guys have conflicting points of view, definitely let me know. I'm always open to a discussion to try and figure out what's the best approach for these weapons in general. That being said, if you guys enjoyed this video today, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more Ever Crisis content. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.